Imagine this. You are in the most important moment of your life. You understand every single word being said to you. In your head, you are Shakespeare. Your grammar is perfect. Your vocabulary is brilliant. But then, the interviewer stops and waits. You open your mouth. Your face turns red. You start sweating. And what comes out is, I am, yes, good. Why? Why does your brain turn into a desert the moment you need to speak? If you think you need more grammar, you are wrong. If you think you aren't smart enough, you are wrong. Today, I'm going to show you the real reason. The one nobody talks about. The one that lives inside your brain, not your textbook. And I'm going to show you through the story of a man named Elias and a silent old keymaker who changed everything he thought he knew about language. Stay with me. 7 years. That's how long Elias studied English. 7 years of grammar books. 7 years of vocabulary lists. 7 years of watching American shows with subtitles, feeling like he was getting closer. And last Tuesday, he sat in a job interview. The interviewer smiled and asked one simple question. Tell me about yourself. Elias understood every word. In his head, perfect sentences were forming. Beautiful sentences. Confident sentences. But what came out of his mouth? I am... Yes, I study English. It is... good. Here is what nobody talks about. It wasn't embarrassment that broke Elias in that moment. It was the confusion. Because he knew the answer. He knew it perfectly. He had the words. He had the grammar. He had everything. But something, invisible, silent, and completely unexplained, stood between his brain and his mouth, like a wall made of nothing. And if you have ever felt this, not just, I need more practice, but that specific, maddening feeling of knowing and still failing, then what I'm about to tell you will be the most important thing you hear this year. Because today, we are not going to talk about grammar. We are not going to talk about vocabulary. We are not even going to talk about confidence. Today, we are going to talk about your brain, and the one thing it was never trained to do. Let me ask you something. Think about the last English word you learned. Can you use it, right now, in a sentence, without thinking? Most people can't. And here is why that matters more than anything else. Neuroscientists discovered something fascinating about how humans learn skills. There are two completely different systems in your brain. The first is called declarative memory. This is your library. It stores facts, rules, information. The past tense of go is went. Adjectives come before nouns in English. This library is incredible. And yours? Yours is probably enormous. The second system is called procedural memory. This is your factory. It doesn't store information. It stores movements, habits, automatic actions. It's how you ride a bicycle without thinking. It's how you type without looking at the keyboard. It's how a musician plays a song while having a full conversation. I know what you're thinking. This sounds like a science class. Stay with me for 30 more seconds. because what I'm about to say next will explain every single time English failed you in one sentence. When you speak English, which system are you using? If you are thinking about grammar while speaking, that's your library. If you are translating from your native language, that's your library. If you are trying to find the right word, that's your library. And here is the brutal truth. Your library was never designed for real-time conversation. It's too slow. It processes one thing at a time. It needs silence and focus. But conversation doesn't wait. Conversation is happening right now, and it needs your factory, not your library. You are like someone who spent 7 years reading books about swimming. You know the theory perfectly. You know the strokes, the breathing, the technique. But the moment you jump into the water, your body has no idea what to do. Because knowing how to swim and swimming are stored in completely different places. You built a magnificent library, but your factory? It was never built, and nobody told you. You don't have a knowledge problem. You have a factory problem. After that interview, Elias didn't go home. He walked for hours because he couldn't understand. I studied for 7 years, he kept repeating to himself. I am not stupid. I know the words. So why? And on that walk, he heard a story. The story of the silent keymaker. There was once a keymaker who was famous across the land. He had a key for every lock in the world. People would travel for days just to ask him for one key. But every visitor described the same strange experience. They would tell him the lock they needed to open. He would walk to his collection, find the perfect key immediately, and then hand it to them with shaking hands, as if his hands had forgotten what keys were for. One day, a young traveler asked him directly, "Master, why do your hands shake? You know every key. You know every lock. Why can't you open them?" The old keymaker sat down quietly and said something the traveler never forgot. I spent 60 years studying keys, their shapes, their teeth, their metals. I know more about keys than anyone alive. But I stopped opening locks 20 years ago. And now, my hands remember the knowledge, but they have forgotten the motion. When Elias heard this story, something shifted inside him. He looked at his notebooks, his grammar books, his vocabulary lists, and for the first time, he understood. He wasn't failing because he was stupid. He wasn't failing because he needed more keys. He was failing because he had spent 7 years studying the keys and 0 hours practicing the motion of opening the lock. His speaking muscles had never been trained, perfect in theory, completely frozen in practice. The old keymaker looked at him and said, "You don't need a new key." And he handed Elias something small, a jar of oil. You need to oil the lock every single day, not for hours, just enough to remind your hands what motion feels like. Then he said the sentence I want you to remember long after this video ends. The key that is never used rusts from the inside. So what is the oil? What did Elias do the next morning instead of opening a grammar book? 3 things: simple, specific, and starting today. The first is what I call the 2-second engine start. Here is what happens when someone asks you a question in English. Your brain receives the question, your library immediately starts searching for the perfect answer. It wants complete sentences, perfect grammar, the exact right word. And while it's searching, 2 seconds pass, then 5, then 10, and suddenly you're frozen. This is called analysis paralysis. You thought too much before starting, and the engine never turned on. The fix is not what you think. The fix is this. You must start making sound within 2 seconds, even if you have no idea what comes next. Not a perfect sentence, not even a complete thought, just a start. Listen to the difference. Version 1. Question. What do you think about your job? 5 seconds of silence. My job, it is, I think. The conversation dies. Version 2. Same question. Actually, I think. Half a second pause. It's more complicated than it looks. Natural conversation continues. Did you hear that? Actually, I think is not an answer. It's an engine start. The moment you say those 3 words, 2 things happen. First, the conversation doesn't die. Second, your brain now has 1 to 2 seconds to actually find the answer, because your mouth is already moving. And a moving mouth forces the brain to catch up. Here are your engine starters. Don't memorize these as vocabulary. Memorize them as reflexes. Actually, I think. That's interesting because, honestly, for me, the way I see it, I never thought about it that way, but these phrases have no meaning by themselves. Their only job is to start your engine. Use them every time, without thinking.
The second thing Elias did was what destroyed his real problem. Think about why you fail when the stakes are high. Interview, important conversation, meeting a native speaker. Your brain goes into survival mode. It's not thinking about language anymore, it's thinking about what will they think of me. And a brain in survival mode cannot access the factory. It can only access fear. Here's the paradox. The only time most people practice speaking is in high-stakes situations. But high-stakes situations are the worst time for your brain to learn. You need to practice when nothing is at risk. When failure has 0 consequences, when nobody is watching, when you feel completely safe. This is called low-stakes output. And the most powerful version of it is something almost embarrassingly simple. Talk to yourself, in English, out loud. Not a script, not a lesson, not prepared sentences. Just narrate your life. I'm making coffee. The water is too hot. I should wait. Actually, I hate waiting. I never have patience for small things. That's probably something I should work on. Do you see what just happened? You went from describing coffee to reflecting on your personality. In English. Without a teacher. Without pressure. Without judgment. That was your factory running. Do this for 5 minutes every day, not 30 minutes, not an hour. 5 minutes. And within 2 weeks, you will notice something strange. The words will start coming faster. Not because you learned new words, but because the path between your library and your mouth is finally being paved. The third thing Elias discovered changed how he thought about language entirely. I want you to think about how a native speaker talks. They don't think subject, verb, object, adjective. They don't check grammar rules in real time. They don't translate from another language. they play recordings. In their factory, stored over years of real use, are hundreds of pre-built language blocks. Linguists call these chunks, complete phrases stored as single units. Not word by word, but as one piece. When a native speaker wants to start a thought, they don't think word by word. They play the recording, to be honest with you. When they want to explain something, what I mean is, when they need time to think, that's a really good question. And I think these chunks give them three things at the same time. Time to think, natural sounding speech, and zero mental energy spent on grammar. Because the chunk is already built correctly. It was stored once, and it plays forever. Here are three chunks to start with today. Say each one out loud after me. Don't just read. Say it. Number 1, to be honest with you, say it again, faster, until it feels like one single word. Number 2, what I mean is, use this when you forget a word. Instead of freezing, you say, what I mean is, and find another way around it. Number 3, that's actually a great point, and I think this one is for conversations. It shows you're listening. It gives you time to think. And it makes you sound fluent before you even say anything real. These are not magic words, but they are the beginning of your factory. 3 recordings. Pre-built, ready to play. That's how you build the factory, one chunk at a time. The next video will give you 99 more. 3 months after that first interview, Elias sat in another interview. Same question. Tell me about yourself. His library was exactly the same size. He didn't learn 1,000 new words. He didn't buy a new grammar book. But his factory? His factory had been running for 90 days. 5 minutes every morning in the kitchen. Engine starters practiced until they felt like breathing. Chunks stored until they played automatically. And when the interviewer asked, Elias smiled. Not because he had the perfect answer, but because he knew that whatever came out would be real, would be him, in English. Elias didn't find a new key on that mountain. He found something more powerful. He found the habit of moving. And now, it's your turn. You have been polishing your keys for long enough. Today, not tomorrow, not after the next lesson. Today. You oil the lock. Here is your challenge. For the next 5 minutes after this video ends, narrate what you are doing. Out loud, in English. Not perfectly, just actively. I'm closing my laptop. I'm thinking about what I just heard. I'm not sure I understood everything, but I think that sentence, that imperfect, real, human sentence, is your first brick. Write one sentence in the comments. One thing you did today. Even, I watched this video and I'm thinking. That is not a small thing. That is your factory starting. For the first time, in the next video, I'll give you 99 chunks, the exact language blocks that native speakers use every single day. The ones that will make your speech sound natural before you even realize it. Subscribe so you don't miss it. And I'll see you in the next tale.